To see you again, Rufai here. This is Chidi Odinkalu's.
Rufi Fire.
Good to see you, sir. How are you, sir? Good. Chidi Odinkalu said 3 years ago, this was part of the article Chidi Odinkalu wrote, said 3 years ago, Ekiti State enacted into law the criminal law of Ekiti State, number 12 of 2021, which repealed and replaced the state pre-existing criminal code law of 2012. Comprising 9 parts, 429 sections, 140 pages, blah, blah, blah. Section 70 of that only contains the crime of causing disaffection or breach of public praise through offensive publication, but it's a simple offense punishable by 6 months. And Odinkalu was saying that's not the issue, in this case. He further said in his article, I quote, he said, last week on the 3rd of December, President of NPF said Dele Farotimi from his residence in Lagos, where the crime of criminal defamation is similarly unknown to law. They raced him through state lines to Ekiti, where they detained him. The following morning, on the 4th of December, the police arraigned Dele before a magistrate court in the state capital. It is important because the gist of the charge popularly prevailed against Dele Farotimi before the magistrate in Ekiti is precisely criminal defamation, which is not a crime in Ekiti State. How do you respond to Chidi Odinkalu here?
Well, you see, we are both, Chidi, my friend Chidi is a lawyer like I am. And, if all lawyers agree on an opinion, on an issue, if we all express the same opinion, there will be nothing for the courts to do. And there will be nothing for us to argue. Chidi has expressed his opinion. That is his opinion, which I don't necessarily share. But again, where are we today? Perhaps this is also a litmus test for all of us, and it's going to add to our jurisprudence. The issues have been tabled before the courts. For the advocates like me that may believe that the courts have jurisdiction, we will canvass the argument. The best thing for the lawyers of the defendants in this matter, Mr. Dele Farotimi, what should they do? There have been a lot of talk here and back and forth. First and first, bring a notice of preliminary objection and tell the court it has no jurisdiction. Tell the court that this offense is unknown to the laws in the Ekiti State, and let the prosecution also bring forward its argument. And the courts will determine one way or the other. I mean, for me, it is even going to be good for our jurisprudence for the courts to determine one way or the other. However, the leading authority on cross-border jurisdictional issue is the celebrated case of Injovens versus the state, where an offense, part of it was purportedly committed in Oyo State, and Patrice Injovens, I think, Injovens and Rede and the rest of them were tried in court and convicted, and this was upheld by the Supreme Court. So on this subject, it's neither here nor there. A school of thought, like people like me, believe the Ekiti courts and the magistrate court in Ekiti has jurisdiction, while the Chidi Odinkalus also believe it does not. So it's neither here nor there. But the jury is out there for all of us. Let the lawyers of the defendant, Mr. Dele Farotimi, I'm advising openly and publicly now, let them bring a preliminary objection or bring an application for the charges to be quashed on the premise that the court has no jurisdiction. I believe by now, if they would have filed such application and let it be heard and determined one day or the other, one way or the other, so we don't go forward and backward. I mean, there will be no end to the opinions that will be expressed by lawyers on this subject. But like I said, there are two distinct things. There is the Federal High Court angle, which is under the Cybercrime Act. I believe, again, even at that, nothing says it's casting iron. It's the Federal High Court that has granted bail now. I think that of the Magistrate Court, I understand, is coming up today. Let's see what this, and the application for bail is also there pending. We see how that also will pan out. Okay,
let me bring up two things. I had asked you earlier, I don't think you got to that point, about, a subject I tried to report earlier on, Unikepo Braithwaite's piece today in This Day, the lawyer section, when she said activism is not a license to defame. Because in all of these discussions of this subject,
absolutely,
I've had people say, oh, under Section 39, an activist can say what he or she likes. Is that a defense in defamation? And then secondly...
you see, I mean, I've read that too, and that is only laughable. It's just like telling me, I mean, because you are in the media, you are at liberty to defame anybody. You have a freedom of speech, but your freedom of speech is also subject to my own rights. And Dr. Abbott, if I may digress, you know, in our days in The Guardian, we dealt with a lot of these issues. You know, I mean, you were on the editorial board, I was the legal advisor back then. We know these things. It's, I mean, if you recall, in those days, even by the time you write editorials, adverts, they are brought to me to screen to ensure that they are also not defamatory. And we put in place measures like even a kind of a guarantee or indemnity in case it's found libelous. So whoever is saying that's being an activist, I mean, who really is an activist, really? Who really is even the press does not enjoy that. Even the press, not to talk of somebody who wakes up and says, I'm an activist. So if I come on channels now and I elect to call Dr. Abati or my dear Rufi Fire, all manner of names, and then they say, what's your defense? I say, look, I am an activist. I mean, that is laughable when I hear that. And those who also say it is trying to stifle free speech and all of that. I mean, you have freedom of speech. That is absolute. But that is correct. But I also have freedom, right to my dignity. You cannot just go and defame me and then say you want to walk away because you are the media or whatever. I mean, even in the media, that's why you have legal departments to guard against some of these things. And there have been celebrated cases, Okunu and Shoyinka and the rest of them, where book publishers have even been found liable to have defamed others. And there are several authorities on that. So you go to the second one as well. I can.
Okay, yes. I was saying secondly, and this has to do with the administration. Some people have said, and I'm sure you must be aware of this, that Dele Farotimi is being targeted because he was anti-Tinubu during the 2023 general elections, and there has been an attempt to say that it's actually the Tinubu group that is fighting Dele Farotimi, using Chief Afe Babalola as a proxy, attacker. So they say.
I think that is most ridiculous and insulting. Insulting Chief Afe Babalola, a revered icon, a legend, a prominent Nigerian educationist and lawyer, who has put in 63 years of legal practice and risen to the very highest peak of the profession as mentor, judges, senior advocates, and the best of this profession. Of course, without talking about one of the best educationists with the establishment of his university and farmer. To imagine that, it's even for those who say that, I hope somebody will also caution them to be conscious of the fact that they too may be liable for defamation for saying such. I mean, let's take it back. Afe Babalola at 95, being used by what to achieve what? By who to achieve what? And going political. Dele Farotimi was on the Peter Obi's campaign trail. He was a member of the campaign committee. Chief Afe Babalola also publicly and openly supported Peter Obi in that election. So, like others, they will not say Chief Babalola is a turncoat Abi. He has also turncoat at 95. I think it's ridiculous for those who say such. It is highly ridiculous, and I think they also need to, those who say such need to examine themselves. I don't want to say they need to be examined, that they could come up with such conspiracy theories. It's for lack of what to say to imagine that this is political, that you put a man 63 years of hard work, of legal practice, a world-renowned lawyer who has shared the best of the profession as children, as mentees, and you go and write a book which the man says allegedly defames him, and if one might just go to the case that is the subject of this alleged defamation. This was a case where the best of the legal profession was involved. On one side was Chief Adebalola's chambers, there was Chief Farotimi Williams' chambers, there was Chief Wole Pekun's chambers. These are icons of the profession. These are the best of our profession. None of them, none, and I say none, who participated actively in the matter, made these allegations. Chief Abebalola, from the records, did not even appear in the matter.
Okay.
And then you now say
okay,
the man has
Mr. Ogala.
committed, and in a sweeping statement, let me finish this. In a sweeping statement, you take out the totality of the Supreme Court, you mention people by names, you mention 2 past chief judges of the state, in sweeping statements. But it's not for me to judge, but based on what we have read. And then you now say it's a Tinubu's government that is using Afebabalola. That is the most ridiculous thing for anybody.
With due respect, Dele Farotimi, in his last press conference, deliberately said that it has got nothing to do with Tinubu, that he can't prove it's got anything to do with Tinubu. So that's his own side of the story. He deliberately said
I'm just reacting to what...
he deliberately said that. So I think let's clear the air that he deliberately said that in his last press conference. We yield the floor.
No, you are just playing that. I'm just reacting to what my brother Ruben just said.
Anyway, thank you very much, BK Ogala, SAN, for joining